on your Friday morning on KRIM. It's that moment you've been waiting for all week. Your hometown movie guys, Tina, Craig, and Andy, telling you everything you need to know about movies and ever so much more. And anyway, all of that said, we got the intro taken care of. How y'all doing?
You know, I don't know about the rest of them out there, but I look forward to this hour all week.
I do.
I do too,
Yeah.
but then I don't get out much.
And there's, according to Facebook, there's a reason for that. But at any rate.
Yes, I'm in the Crowbar Hotel.
Well, I feel kind of bad. I mean, it's been 3 weeks since the last time we were all here together. It seemed like every Friday I was stuck on the other side of the creek.
And who are you?
Joe. Just call me Joe. What do we still? Let's see. I've got all kinds of little buttons here. I still need.
Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Just saying hi to people that we know are listening out there. Anyway, so Craig, life at the Sawmill Theaters. We were talking a little bit before going on the air today, and some of these movies that started just recently, where the national trends were headed is not necessarily where the trends in Payson were headed. I found that kind of interesting.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise just opened last weekend,
And that's the one with The Rock.
yeah, Dwayne Johnson,
Yeah.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Nationally, it did less money than Black Widow did,
Huh.
but in Payson, it did more than Black Widow did.
I think we just
So
needed
we
more
can-
laughs here or something.
Maybe, you know.
Because that is kind of a mix of humor and action, right?
Oh yeah. No, it hit well for Payson. I think everyone.
What are you doing?
I'm tuning us in, believe it or not.
We're possessed.
Yeah, really. But I've seen the trailer for that, and it looks like kind of a fun movie.
For sure.
And it's what is it PG-13?
It's a PG-13,
Right.
yeah, for the action, but it's
Right.
I think pretty mild. But yeah, it's just I think it hits. You get some of the older folks remember going on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, sure.
I guess I'm an older folk then.
They do reference back into that quite a bit in the movies.
Right.
And it's got stuff for kids too, so it's good.
Very cool.
Yeah,
But-
I got to see it in 3D, which if you can see it in 3D, go see it in 3D. Boy, that was fun. You got these giant jungle snakes just reach right out and get you. You know, I mean,
It's pretty amazing where the 3D abilities or technology has gone. It's not like your grandma's 3D movie.
Yeah, no, it's really fun, and there's some very gentle. Don't do that. There's some very gentle humor in there. Right at the beginning, there's a whole bunch of jokes, and one of them is this won't spoil the whole movie, but there's a cement hippopotamus. The setup is Dwayne Johnson is taking people out on a jungle cruise,
Right.
okay? And they cut their little boat off, and there's this hippo there, and this young girl says, "Oh, wait a minute, this is the Amazon. There's no hippos in the Amazon." And Dwayne Johnson just looks at her and says,
They don't need to know that.
you know, yeah. they
And
don't
raises
need
his eyebrow, which is,
Right.
his
Signature thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, real quick, I got to say good morning to Clifford Lane, who's watching us on Facebook Live all the way from Southern Illinois this morning. So hey out there, Southern Illinois.
Hey.
And if you'd like to see what the hometown movie guys
Hi, Clifford.
look like
Hi,
and see what they look like in action in the studio, just log on to KRIM FM on Facebook, and lo and behold, we'll be there with you all hour. Just the first half hour here on the radio, but a full hour on Facebook. So there you go.
Full hour.
A full hour. Well, I mean, minus a couple of minutes.
A full hour, but only half an hour on the radio?
Here we go again.
We're shocked.
It's
Okay, but
barely an inconvenience.
Okay, what is that shocked from? What is that? Yeah. he knows.
Shocked.
I'm shocked. Shocked.
No, I give up.
Casablanca.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
that goes.
Right
See, that's
towards the
that's
end.
one of those movies that
Yeah,
only
yeah.
old people know.
And that means White House, by the way.
White House, Casablanca, yes, right.
Casablanca.
Yeah.
As opposed to Blanca House,
Yeah.
or something like that. Anyway, so meanwhile, back at the movies. I thought we weren't going to digress.
That was a movie.
It was a movie.
Okay,
It was a
all right,
line.
All right, all right.
And this morning, just before I came in, I watched Pitch Meeting for
Oh,
for Jungle Cruise. It was really funny.
Oh, really? Oh, I gotta go and see
It
it.
was really funny.
Yeah.
And so the pitch meeting for that?
Yeah.
I bet that would be
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Oh, it's
He
hilarious.
keeps up with everything. He's amazing, this guy. If you haven't seen Pitch Meeting out there in Radio Land, find it. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
YouTube.
And, if you hear us say, super easy, barely an inconvenience,
Yeah.
that's a line for Pitch Meeting.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, wow, wow.
Hey, by the way, we also have to say good morning to Teresa, Linda, Melinda, and Melinda again. Thanks for joining us this
Hi,
morning.
Melinda, and Linda.
And also Susan. We got all kinds of people watching us on Facebook this morning. Thanks for joining us. Now, so we talked about now Black Widow did better.
We hardly even talked about Jungle Cruise at all.
Would you like to talk about it more?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you think, Craig? Talk about Jungle Cruise a little bit.
Why not?
What would you like to talk about?
Well, it's got pretty much everything that you want. It's got big movie stars,
Right.
Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson. It's got a Nazi submarine in the Amazon River. It's got cursed conquistadors.
Cursed conquistadors.
Yes, right. Who come back alive, so that technically means
They're
that they are
zombies.
zombies. There you go.
Ooh.
Nice. I knew we'd finally end up back to the zombies again. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So it's funny how they come out, where you're not expecting them. So it's got magic, it's got romance, it's got German submarines, it's got everything that you possibly want in a movie.
How's the script?
Who cares?
Yeah, okay. Don't need no stinking script. Hey, by the way, good morning to Elliot and Jolinda, who have also joined us on Facebook, and Melinda up there on the rim. She says howdy.
Oh, good.
And if you have questions for our hometown movie guys, feel free to just text them into us there on.
And we will
our
answer
Facebook
all
page.
questions.
That's right.
One way or the other.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I want to challenge our listeners that much, but yeah. At any rate, now as far as
There's also monkeys and parrots and a trained jungle cat.
jungle cat. Okay, I get enough parrot at home. But interesting. So I mean, good for the whole family. Up, from like maybe 13 and up.
Yeah, PG-13. PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah. But there's no bad words. There's no naked people.
Right.
There's a fart joke and a couple of pee-pee jokes. That's about as rough as it gets.
Gosh, it sounds like a trip to the grocery store to me. But anyway, so now, and I
That's
hate,
awful.
I know. Wasn't my fault.
Somebody held a gun on me and made me eat that chili.
All too true. Now, but again, we digress. Now, one other movie that I would like to mention briefly, though, is The Black Widow. You mentioned that did better nationally than Jungle Cruise, but not so much to the same here
Yeah,
locally.
they flipped here in Payson.
Yeah. Now, has that been pulling in big bucks?
It has. Yeah, it did quite well. It's probably gonna be its last week.
Really?
Yeah, that's been here for quite a while now.
I was going to say, it's been a few weeks since we
yes.
were all together, and I remember us talking about Black Widow before that. so-
I'm pretty sure Thursday's gonna be its last day. But,
Right.
but no, it's done quite well in nationally too.
Now, did you see that one, Andy?
Yes, one of the best avalanches of all time.
Avalanches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I've seen some pretty impressive avalanches, but
No, I'm talking about cinematic avalanches.
okay.
Yep.
And Tina, have you seen that one?
I have not.
And why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh wait, the line. Pitch meeting. I don't know.
There you have it. Incorrigible
Not
people.
knowing is tight.
Tight.
Hey, by the way, good morning to Gene and Clifford joining us on Facebook as well.
But I do have some bad news about Jungle Cruise.
Oh, okay.
Opening weekend in North America, it did $36 million, which is not bad, but it's certainly nothing to write home about for a movie of this scope.
In movie circles anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
This
I
is the movie show, right?
It's about as much money as I make in a weekend, but it's not quite as much as the movies.
some others do.
Yeah.
But the really the heartbreaking thing, and I think Craig will back me up on this, they made $30 million in streaming because Disney, being jerks, they opened it up streaming the same day that they opened it up in the theaters.
Disney is Mauschwitz.
Now switch.
Achtung. Bad, Disney, bad.
Don't candy coat it for us. Come on,
Yes,
yeah.
and after the show, we're gonna have a 2 minutes of hate out on the sidewalk, and we'll just scream at
Do
Disney.
we have the doll?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, good morning to Lenora, Gary, and Johnny also joining us on Facebook.
Oh, is Johnny the same?
That's right.
Hey?
Hey, now, when it comes to, from the perspective of someone who, manages a theater, I think, he's brought up a pretty good point. That has got to be kind of discouraging for you when you're getting a new movie in, but hey, at the same time, they're going to make it available on everyone's TV set at home.
And that's just kind of a shifting dynamic, because of the plague.
Right.
It's
Everything's
evil.
kind of changed up. And,
It's evil.
the studios have certainly, from my standpoint, taken advantage of it
Right?
with the streaming thing. There were long-standing 90-day windows that they adhered to,
Right.
and with COVID, they just ignored all that and started doing whatever.
It's downright dishonorable, I believe.
I agree.
There's an honor,
It was.
you know?
I mean,
No
I do-
honor in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know,
Is
I
there
mean,
ever?
You do have to understand. I mean, they're a business. They're trying to make money, but some of the stuff they're doing is just a little too far.
Yeah, it's
Gratuitous and unnecessary and nasty.
Evil.
In that
Well, you
word.
know, like you said, with Jungle Cruise, 30 million and then 30 million in streaming. The argument made if they hadn't streamed it, it would have just done 60 million in theaters.
Maybe.
So they're just basically just taking that money from us.
Do you think they're just trying to figure out what's going on, or do you think? Are they?
Well, a little bit of it, yeah. I think a little bit of it is a kind of a trial and error thing. They're trying to maximize their profits. Like you said, they're a company. That's what companies do.
Right. However.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is some, like Tina said, the honor, integrity, ethics. They're just kind of throwing out the window to do this.
Right. Yeah, that's spooky. Now, by the way, good morning to Tom, and Kathy. We have a couple of more Toms that joined us. Thank you.
Tom.
Again, on
Hi.
Facebook, where you can sit and watch everything we got going on here. Now, today we have a new movie starting at the Sawmill Theaters,
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, and this is actually pretty funny stuff,
Yeah, a lot of hype on this one. A lot of expectations.
right?
This is James Gunn jumped over from Disney and went over to Warner Brothers to direct this film. Wrote it and directed it.
Wow.
But this is Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, a lot of big stars in this, and it's definitely more of a, well, not all comedy, but
Right.
kind of more of a comedic,
Right,
superhero
but
movie.
it's still that mix of action and comedy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, and it is rated R.
Right. So there's some potty mouth and things like that. Or?
Oh yeah, a lot of fairly violent.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not really pulling any punches on their violence.
I hear you.
Some
By the way, good morning to Patricia and Lucy, also joining us this morning on Facebook. Now, and so with this one, with Suicide Squad, that starts today. And what hours is it like?
1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock.
Cool. And that there's been some pretty good hype on this as far as promotion.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Oh,
going just to
definitely.
the theaters to begin with, right?
No,
No, they're going to do the streaming thing on this one too, huh?
it's Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay. So it's endemic with Warner Brothers, or?
Warner Brothers is doing all their movies this year streaming at the same time they come out in theaters.
And there will be a 2 minute of hate Warner Brothers after the show.
Yeah, they're another one. They're another one doing the same thing that Disney's doing.
Wow.
A little bittersweet, I guess, because Warner Brothers is releasing their movies anyway. Disney and some of the other studios just pulled them completely and pushed them into 2022 or just put them on hold.
Right.
So Warner Brothers is at least giving us the movies in theaters.
Well, one of the things, by the way, thanks Patricia for chiming in here. Patricia, who's joining us on Facebook, said, "Isn't the streaming issue why Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney?"
Yeah. Yes.
So what's the bottom line with this now?
Well, their contracts. These actors all sign contracts, and they have bonuses linked into the box office success.
Mm-hmm.
So when these studios are now going to the streaming right away, that's cutting back on the box office money. So it's affecting Scarlett Johansson's take.
Mhm.
So they're going through, and she's not the only one. Emma Stone, I guess, is considering it too for Cruella.
Wow.
I think Frank Kaminsky sued Paramount for Quiet Place 2.
Oh.
So it's something they're all kind of doing. And what will happen, I mean, the studios will, obviously here going forward, they're going to put clauses in there for this type of thing. But, these movies were all, like when it was supposed to come out last year.
Pre-clause.
Yeah, these were all before the plague, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going back into suing them, and good.
Yeah. Hopefully get things back to the way it was. Thanks for asking on that, Patricia. That's a good question. If you have a question or a comment, maybe you want to just find out.
Did you notice how well we answered that question?
I thought quite well, actually.
That's right.
That's right, because they're the hometown movie guys. And maybe you have a question too, just like, hey, Andy, where'd you get that Hawaiian shirt? Feel free. That's a good place to get Hawaiian shirts, as far as I know. At any rate, feel free to chime in. Again,
Not bad.
KRIM FM on Facebook. Now, so it's just the one new movie starting today.
Yes.
And what are the other ones to round out the slate real quick?
We still have Old,
Right?
M. Night Shyamalan.
Right? AC Peterson.
Yeah.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah.
Old, kind of a horror film.
Right?
Horror thriller, I guess. More of a thriller, I think, than a horror movie.
Has that been doing well?
It's done okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's one of those thinker movies.
Yeah.
You have to go and think.
It's
Oh my
good.
gosh.
Mm.
A thinker's
But
thinker.
there's action as well.
Right? Well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
The other big one that came out last week is Stillwater.
Yes.
Another thinker movie.
Yes.
Really?
Really
Matt
good
Damon movie that
Yeah.
has done quite well also.
Now, and Tina, you've seen this one?
Loved it.
Really? Why?
Absolutely loved it.
You don't
Because
love
it's-
anything.
I do. I love my husband. I love my dogs. I sometimes
In
love
that
these
order?
guys. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make
It's
sure.
so good, this movie.
Right?
It is very thoughtful, it is very intelligent. The construction of any of the suspense, that you think is, what you think is what you know is not what you know.
Mhm.
And the acting is superb.
Based on a true story.
Oh, really?
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, sort of.
See,
Loosely-
yeah, well,
loosely based,
Yeah,
but-
loosely based, but honestly, you've got to see this movie. I mean, it's completely fresh. It's not a remake of something. It's like seeing Old, which had unique and interesting themes. This also has, it's a movie that you can talk about afterwards. You can think about, and it doesn't. It's like I've seen this 100 times. None of that. It's really
Yeah,
good.
it's not a sequel.
Yeah.
And
Really good.
Matt Damon
Oh,
is really good.
I forgot it was Matt Damon. I mean,
Yeah.
he disappeared into the role.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I spent the part of my life working in the oil fields in Alaska,
Right.
and so I was around. Matt Damon plays a guy from Stillwater, Oklahoma. He's an oil field worker.
Mhm.
He's a roughneck,
Mhm.
and I was around those guys. And Matt Damon
Mhm.
is such a good actor
Mhm.
that, as Tina says, he disappears into the role. He actually went to the real Stillwater and hung out with these guys so that he could develop their mannerisms. And in the Bourne movies, he's a really two-fisted, quick, fast, violent guy.
Assassin.
And in this thing, he is not
Mhm.
quick.
Mhm.
He's stolid. He's plotting. He is not particularly bright. He's not stupid, but he's just an average guy. He's not some kind of superhero sort of a guy.
And he really brings that out in his acting.
And he does, and everything he does speaks to that. And all of his mannerisms, his way of conducting himself, it's just brilliant acting.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's so hard to get people to the theater. This should get people to the theater. It's so good.
Go to the theater and think.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do it.
And by the way, good morning to Susan, Dar, Patricia, and Timothy also.
Timothy, now there's a thinker.
There's a thinker right there. Let them know what you think, Timothy. I appreciate you joining us on Facebook this morning. Now, real quick, before we're out of time in our first half hour here on the radio, we also want to talk about something special going on at the Sawmill Theaters tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, Tombstone. with Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday. I mean, seriously, I'll be your Huckleberry.
There you go.
And Kurt Russell and Bill Paxton.
That was,
Oh man,
that truly
on
was
the
a
big
well done
screen,
movie. Yeah.
on the big screen. You got to see this movie, really. You know,
That's our-
1993.
It's our classic movie.
Yeah.
10 a.m., $5 to get in.
Yeah.
Right?
One show.
And that
only.
includes like a steak dinner and a bunch of stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I worked for Warner Brothers there for a second.
Maybe I can find a picture of the steak dinner.
Yeah.
Look at it as you come in.
If you put it on the big screen, man, I mean,
No, but
seriously.
still, I mean, $5, you can't get in to see a movie anywhere for $5.
It's such a deal.
And there's something we talk about repeatedly, but that's our job. But you know, there is something about watching a movie on the big screen versus. I mean, I got a big old honking TV at home that I like, and a sound system. It doesn't compare to going to the theater, and there's just something too about watching with a bunch of other people, whether it's a comedy or a suspense thriller or whatever. There's just
Well, and the other too, we before the movie starts, we go in and we vote.
Yes.
Like we talk to the crowd and let everyone kind of decide what we're going to do for September
Yeah.
for our classic movie. Then, so you get to vote on the next one also. So if there's a movie you really want to see on the big screen, this is your opportunity for that.
cool.
Yeah.
So
And boy, they've Craig has really shown some great movies on
Oh,
that classic
man.
movie thing.
With it Ben Hur.
Roman Holiday.
what about Animal House?
Oh.
I mean, I think the world
If they would vote for it.
the world needs to revisit Animal House.
Well, it's
I mean,
the Delta variant.
that's right. There you go.
Right.
On a zit. Anyway, I just there was something, we used to be able to get away with such wonderful humor that was just gut-bustingly funny, and it seems like we've all gotten so, I don't know, whatever the right word
Well, we
is.
showed
did-
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles. We did Young Frankenstein.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Yes. So it's so then it's time for Animal House.
Maybe.
by the
we haven't
way,
done any.
People do like to see the comedies.
We
Yes.
have not done any Monty Python yet.
The Monty Python and the Holy Grail, one
You know
of my
what?
favorites of all
I'm
time.
I should bring it in. I got a clock that is John Cleese, the minister of silly walks, and his
Right.
legs. It's a wall clock. I can't wait till it arrives.
That sounds like a great one.
But people get to vote on it. So
Yeah.
like you said, if
Monty Python.
we can, and usually what I'll do is I'll pick 5 or 6 movies, so we're not, spending the whole day going over movies. But
Well-
we can do that. Some classic comedy.
In a couple of words, I'm feeling much better.
Yes.
Bring out your dead.
That's it. We'll put it out there. Some.
Put you in the dung room.
Oh, yes. What an amazing smell you've discovered. No, that was a different movie. Anyway,
I fought in your general direction.
yeah, there you go. And your mother smells of elderberries or whatever that was.
I always thought Life of Brian was the.
Oh.
That was.
That was your favorite?
Yeah, there was just so
Oh,
many.
it's ridiculously. I mean, it's high humor.
Just the mount on the
The Sermon on the
Sermon
Mount.
Someone on the mount, and they're back there fighting over where this guy scratched his nose or picked his nose. And, it was like probably the greatest speech of all time, and they're just being idiots back there.
Right. Well, they used to have.
The cheesemakers.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
You
and
know,
of
the
course.
cheesemakers.
And by cheesemakers, by extension, of course, they mean all dairy workers are blessed, not just the cheesemakers.
There you go. I remember, we used to watch Monty Python's Flying Circus on
Yes.
Channel 8 once a
Flying
week. And
Circus.
yes, I used to. I mean, that world stopped when that show was on. It was time to sit down and laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Blessed be the cheesemaker.
What do you say? Blessed are the meek, and they say, "Oh, well, thank goodness, they have a hell of a time of it."
Those are some good old
The
movies.
master has dropped a sandal. What does this mean? It means that we are to pay attention to things of the feet rather than things of the face and head.
There you go. Just like so. This again, it goes to show that tomorrow, when you go to the Sawmill Theaters to
can
watch the
vote.
classic movie Saturday, which is Tombstone tomorrow,
Yeah.
that you can vote, and we suggest either maybe a Monty Python movie or perhaps Animal House. Those are my
So-
recommendations.
What about History of the World?
Ooh, History of the
Mel
World.
Brooks.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you
Mel
go.
Brooks.
It's
Anything.
good to be king.
You know what? The Producers.
Oh, yeah.
Really one of my favorite Mel Brooks. I mean, with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. Oh my God, that is
Alright.
so good.
Let's do that. We'll go for some
And that's a musical and a
some
Mel
comedy
Brooks.
more on the silly side.
Yeah.
The world needs more of that.
Yeah.
And we need to.
Especially today.
We could do the silly bits.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that'll be Labor Day weekend.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
I-
Well, the producers.
We
The
have to, I
producers.
mean-
I think the producers.
It's either that or you're going to have to come up with some like maternity movies or something.
Yeah, I was thinking
Not many Labor Day movies.
Ugh, not good. Anyway, now we're out of time here on the radio, but we're going to continue talking about movies, and we hope you'll join us on Facebook. Just look for KRIM FM on Facebook, and we're going to continue talking with your hometown movie guys. In the meantime, if you want to find out what's playing, when it's playing, and all that good stuff at the Sawmill Theaters, just log on to sawmilltheaters.com.
.net.
.net, excuse me.
Yes.
Not .com, but .net.
.net.
Okay, so check that out. And again, here on the radio, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Got some tunes coming up from Rare Earth, The Police, Neil Young,
The
Bad Finger, and a whole bunch
Police.
more. But
Woo.
first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
Or as we call them, the popo.
The police.
As meteorologist Scott Robert.
There's some guy doing the weather. All right, so now we're all set with that. Got that stuff turned off. Don't have to play with this anymore. Now we can get even more
Risque.
Okay, I got
high frivolity.
I got a question for you.
Okay?
What is the connection between M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's new movie Old and the current Emily Blunt movie Jungle Cruise? What is the connection?
He knows. He's just showing off.
I have it written down.
They're both shot on film. I don't know what.
Okay, now this is a name to reckon with. James Newton Howard.
Oh, yes.
James
Just did the music?
James Newton Howard did the score for both of the
Wow.
movies
Oh, wow.
currently in the Sawmill
And he
Theater.
is a wonderful, he's super great.
Oh yeah,
He's done, you know.
Oh, tons of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
Good morning, Bill, Amanda, and Taffy joining us online. Appreciate you coming around.
Born Legacy he did.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's
You know, that takes a
And-
real talent too. When you look at writing a movie score, you know, that really adds to the emotion and everything that you're watching and isn't distracting.
yeah.
I mean, John Williams did some amazing things with a number of course, the Star Wars and other stuff. But I mean, I think it takes just a profound musical talent to be able to
He's
do
done
that.
a lot of M. Night's movies, by the way. He's
Yeah.
done Lady in the Water, Signs, Unbreakable. He just did The Sixth Sense. He did the music of that. Old, right? Okay.
Lady in the Water.
Batman
What a
Begins. Yeah, I love that movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
You're the one.
What?
I know, I'm the one person, right? Yeah, but.
Even I didn't like that.
And he was hoping people would come and
Oh
watch
my
it.
gosh, I know.
Oh,
I know, but he's been around for a long time. He did The Dark Knight. Michael Clayton, right?
Michael Clayton was an interesting
It
movie.
was-
I thought that was fun.
It was good.
Especially when he showed up at the girl's house and her husband answered the door.
Oops.
Oops, yeah. Yeah, but you're right. He did Mockingjay.
Yep.
You
Hunger
know,
Games.
Yep. Peter Pan.
Hunger Games. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that's quite a resume.
Yeah, and as I mentioned when we were broadcasting, which we are no longer doing, I got to see this
We're
movie.
webbing right now.
Yeah, I got to see this movie yesterday, and the score really adds a great deal to the enjoyment of
Yeah.
this particular movie.
Right.
I'm just always grateful when there's a score without rap.
You know, the one thing, the really one main thing that's missing with rap is a capital C in front of it.
That's what.
Oh,
That's no. I agree.
my-
I agree. I agree.
I'm not a big rap fan, in case you couldn't tell.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
no, no.
I'm not even a small rap fan.
No, it's a small C.
It's rhythmic talking.
Bad,
No,
bad,
musical.
bad language and misogyny. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
We hate women and use bad words. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Let's make it a hit.
And all of us have an IQ under 60. Yeah. But anyway,
Key and Peele did a skit on that with the two guys doing the two sides of rap. There is some other elements of rap to it.
Once in a while, there's
they're kind of
something.
making a parody of the
Yeah.
two. One is kind of thoughtful and more serious than the other that is just.
Not that I'm a fan of Snoop Dogg, because I'm not, but there was
Isn't he a killer?
I think so. Yeah, there's been many rap artists are or were, 'cause-
Or claim to be?
Yeah, exactly. But there was a movie with Lawrence Fishburne, and I can't remember the name of it, but where Snoop Dogg did the score, and there was rap, but it was this very, it was almost melodic.
Huh, he
And
did
I-
a score for a movie, that's
Yes,
great.
he did.
Well,
Yes,
good
he
for
did.
him.
Yeah, well, and
Maybe he's rehabilitated.
and this was the young Lawrence Fishburne, he was still thin, and he's a great actor.
Well, he made his debut in what, the Mod Squad?
No, that was Clarence.
Oh, that's right, that's
What's his name?
Where did he first come to the
It might
screen?
have been one of these, I'll look it up. So,
Meanwhile, back at reality.
yeah, really.
As far as music scores for movies, though, man, I mean that right there is a pretty wide-reaching topic to discuss at any rate. I mean, even
Out of Africa,
Oh,
one of the great scores.
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course with the photography on that, where they're swooping around in the little airplane over the picturesque African continent. It's,
Lawrence Fishburne was, by the way, in Apocalypse Now.
he was?
Yes, he was.
I don't remember him.
Well, you may not, but he was
That's a
there.
good one for comedy. You
Yeah.
see, Gods Must Be Crazy.
Oh, yes. And 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second one was.
Second
the
one
first
was, yeah, I know, but the first one was brilliant.
This guy's flying over Africa
Yeah.
and he throws a Coke bottle out of his plane.
Yeah, right.
And then this little tribe that's out there that has never seen anybody, they find the bottle and it just causes all sorts of problems.
Because it's from heaven.
They
Well,
start
well,
worshiping it, or
Yeah.
Well, everyone.
It's a total.
They lived in a little family unit and everybody shared everything and everyone was really happy.
Right.
But then when they had the Coke bottle, there's only one Coke bottle, so everybody wanted it, and then they started fighting. So then they decided that the Coke bottle was evil, and so the one tribesman takes off to throw it off the edge of the world
Mhm.
to get rid of this evil thing.
wow.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that sounds
it's
Oh, it's a wonderful movie.
just
It is a wonderful.
And
How
not,
many years ago was that?
Oh,
Oh,
geez, 30,
man.
40?
Yeah.
No, not that.
late
Yes.
80s, late
Was
80s,
it late 80s?
early
Yeah.
90s, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Maybe earlier.
No, I think earlier.
Earlier.
Wow.
I'll look it
But,
80s are a
I
little
don't
hazy.
remember much of the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
you know,
up. More there.
we might, that's a movie made in South Africa by South Africans.
Yeah.
And there have been a few really remarkable movies, and that one, of course, was filmed with $9 or something to make the movie. It was really great. But what was the thing? Sector 9,
District 9.
District
District
9.
9, yeah.
Another
Yeah.
South African movie that is
Yeah.
completely fresh and original.
Yes.
Really
Super,
great movie.
super good.
Science fiction movie in this case.
Right.
Really, really well done.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
1980, the original.
See, long time ago.
See, you're right.
I was right, 40 years.
Yeah. And then the second one was 89.
We'll put that one down. Because if one
Maybe
of
that,
the
you know
choices,
what, that would be
maybe one
really
of the
good, the
choices.
first one. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And seeing that on a big screen?
That'll be a tough call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like O'Brien,
Oh.
Holy Grail,
Oh.
God Must Be Crazy, Animal House.
Well, that'd be some tough. Maybe you could just do like a
The
a
producers.
laugh fest marathon and play a few of them in a
We
row.
need a comedy
We'll
festival.
have a Caddyshack.
Oh my
There you go.
goodness, Rodney
I
Dangerfield.
like it when he blows up poor little chipmunks.
I have a signed picture of Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield with the Caddyshack logo below it and everything.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
What about
You should
Fletch?
donate that to the
What
theater.
about Fletch?
It was given to me as a gift.
Yeah, you should donate it to the
donate it,
theater.
man. I donated stuff.
My son gave it to me. I think might not be a
Oh,
real
come
wise
on.
move on my
Tell
part.
him,
You'll
that
never know.
it's for a larger audience.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah.
But Flesh is really funny.
Fletch that is Chevy Chase's best movie, in my
Right.
opinion. Right? Yeah. Really good. Yeah.
He did some good stuff.
I don't know. Chevy Chase back in the the Saturday Night Live days, I thought he was really good, but then the I don't know, the character that he always kind of went after just seemed to change. And then in Caddyshack, what's his name on that one?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
That's another guy that back originally. I loved the parts that he played in some of the earlier Saturday Night Live stuff. But after a while, I don't know, it seemed like
It got weird.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
kind of contrived at times.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live was kind of out there.
Yeah,
a lot
It
of
was
those
funny.
skits, a lot of those skits were.
It was hysterical.
But back then it was truly
I
funny.
mean, when
I
Eddie
think-
Murphy did James Brown, how
Yeah.
low.
But the last 10
Really?
years or maybe 20 years,
Uh.
it went.
How would you know you can never up that late?
I can hit the record button. But I mean, it seems like what we've found to be the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Tuco.
So
The
I wanna be true.
but anyway, it just seems like what we've found to be funny now isn't nearly as funny.
Well, no, because they it went all stupidly, political. It's snowflakes. There's snowflakes trying to do humor. I mean, that's like slugs trying to do humor.
And you think of the characters like Samurai Divorce Lawyer.
Oh God,
I mean,
John
you
Belushi.
just-
I know.
It's just hysterical stuff.
Samurai Delicatessen.
John Belushi
Ah.
was I mean, there was a guy
It
with a
was
gift.
so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Cheeseburger, Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Go back way too far on some of that
Oh
stuff.
man.
So
Saturday Night Live for the last 50 years, though, was pretty much spawned all of our comedians.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look back, Will Ferrell,
Eddie
Eddie Murphy, yeah, Chris
Right.
Rock came out
Right.
of there.
I'm not sure there's been one
Chris
that has
Farley.
caused me to laugh as much as Eddie Murphy.
He really
Eddie Murphy,
is.
when you go, what was the one where he's the Beverly Hills Cop?
Oh,
I
where he
mean,
goes into the restaurant and he goes, "Hi, my name is Ramon, and I need to see the man before parts start falling off the man because I've been diagnosed with herpes simplex 3." I love that movie.
he was good. I'm amazed that you had that memorized.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the
I
last
can
thing
do
marked
this
there.
at the drop of a,
Yeah.
of a diagnosis.
By the way, good morning to Christy, James, Timothy, and Rochelle. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And actually, it almost looks like my phone has frozen up.
Oh no!
So
Oh,
keep the questions coming. I just won't
how
see them.
dare you?
Okay, you guys remember It's a Mad World?
Yes. Zero Mostel was in that, right?
But yeah, everybody was in it.
Everybody,
Phil
yeah.
Silvers.
Bill Silvers.
But they made a repeat of it with John Cleese, and I can't remember the name of it. But man, that was funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You what? How can that be?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. But these guys are in the remake. They're gamblers,
Oh.
and they, there's this crazy race, and they bet on who's going to win it. But one of the things they do, right, in the kind of the setup at the beginning of the movie, is they're in Vegas, so they call up one of these high-priced hookers, and they come up with the most outlandish sexual escapade, and they bet on how much she would charge to do this absurd thing. And that's just the kind of guys they are. There's a whole bunch of them, and then they engage on this cross country race. They go from Vegas to New Mexico, someplace, and
And what movie is this again?
I can't think of the name of it.
Is
But it's a
is it called a
remake.
rat race?
Rat Race. There we go. It's Rat Race.
How do I know these things?
I don't know, but it's Rat Race, and
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, it's a good movie.
It's the funniest movie that I've seen in this century.
No, no, wait a minute.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, the century's only 21 years old, so. And wow, that's it. The funniest movie since
Oh.
2000.
Yep.
Rat Race. I'll have to check that out.
It's good.
I've not seen that.
It
one.
is good.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
Fear and Loathing.
Oh,
Fear and Loathing.
That's in the other century.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
while we're at it, I mean, if you were going to pick the funniest movie ever, in your opinion, what would that be?
That's hard.
That is hard.
Yeah.
That's really difficult. Yeah, this century, you had Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
I
Rat Race
just
is
put that
funnier.
on my
Tropic
list.
Thunder is good, but Rat
Tropic
Race is
Thunder
funnier.
is wonderful. Yeah, Ben Stiller.
I didn't see that one.
Oh.
I'm still stuck
What?
with. I'm still stuck with. Monty Python's. As far as
Old Century.
Old Century.
hey,
You're talking about, no,
So am
but
I.
he's asking
Matthew
about.
McConaughey,
about-
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. It's so on PC.
Yeah, Ben Stiller and
right.
Black.
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Yeah,
Jack Black.
yeah, he's
just-
great. Oh, yeah.
The first time I remember seeing Jack Black was in The Jackal,
Oh,
and they shot him.
yeah.
They had him go out and stand up and hold a target, and they shot him.
I love the producers. I really do. Mel Brooks,
Yeah.
and I mean Springtime
Old-
for Hitler, and
Old
he writes.
Century.
He's asking about of all time.
Okay, how about Ted?
Let me see that.
Ted with the teddy bear. That was,
Ted was a little over the top for me.
I haven't seen. I
that
haven't.
talking teddy bear?
Well, no, it was just there was some pretty nasty stuff
That
in there.
was a little bit.
What about
That was
it-
Mark Wahlberg with
Oh,
his
yeah.
teddy bear comes to life.
Yeah.
Right.
Irreconcilable Differences
Oh.
with George Clooney.
That was tragedy. That was not funny.
It was funny.
Oh my
God!
God, it was
With
brutally
Catherine
tragic.
Zeta-Jones. Oh, it's a comedy
Little
about
insight on
lawyers.
Tina here this morning.
It's a comedy about lawyers.
I mean,
it's
bloodthirsty, man-eating.
it's the Coen brothers. Come on.
Barbie doll Hollywood climbers.
Yeah.
Going from producer to producer and killing them or divorcing them, killing them by heart attacks.
What part of that is funny?
Yeah.
What part of that is funny?
I love it.
I believe what we're witnessing here are some deep-seated inner hostilities trying to make their way to the surface. Quick, call her husband.
Really?
Yeah.
Change the lock.
A really well done movie, but
I
not a
love it.
comedy at all.
Well, but then what about with the one with where he plays the dude,
The Big Lebowski.
the Big Lebowski? That's great.
That was a
Yeah.
drama.
Well, it's a dramedy. It's a dromedary.
Does
No.
it bother you at all that everything that you think is hilarious, both these guys are going, ooh, whoa.
They're not sophisticated enough.
Oh, it's a sophistication thing. I got you.
It's
Okay.
not The Big Lebowski is overrated.
Oh,
It's
I
not
love
bad.
it.
It's not
It's
a bad
good. I
movie,
love
but
it. I love
everyone's like, oh, The Big Lebowski.
And so, funniest movie of all time, Andy? I mean, of all time, not
All
just
time,
this century.
see? Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Chaplin movie, back in your younger days.
I have to say that pick any three Monty Python movies.
I would
and
agree
you're
with that.
there.
There was something, there was an edginess and kind of an outrageousness to everything that they did, but I just remember.
And really smart.
Oh yeah, the intelligence level was way up
Well,
there.
they were all Oxford or Cambridge, I can't remember, but I think
it was intellectual humor, but golly, those movies were hilarious,
Dumb and Dumber.
right? Dumb and Dumber, that was
Jim Carrey.
that was
Yeah,
fun.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey
Come on,
was
that
funny.
was
Yeah.
that what was it? Turbo Locks or something he gives.
Well, and the yeah. Now there's another character though, another person who
Yeah.
has he ever played a serious role?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not successfully,
Yeah.
but he has.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
But that weird. I think maybe his.
Ace Ventura,
Oh.
Pet Detective.
Yeah.
But you know what? He
It's always a
got
little
his
much.
start on In Living Color.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
remember, that was one of the funniest shows that you could never do. They had the Wayans brothers, and we've been doing this at home. Hated it, loved it. And you can't do that anymore because they were
Everybody's
channeling-
got to be politically correct.
And in Living Color, they made fun of, being different colors.
right.
It was great.
I think perhaps his biggest cinematic achievement might have been The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
It was good.
I thought he did a good job
It
of
was really good.
pulling that character
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've not been a big Jim Carrey fan. I think, the first time I saw him, it was outrageous enough to make me laugh, but I mean, a little bit of that goes a long way.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
gotta,
Yeah.
you kind of have to like his. But like, we've talked that one before. A lot of people, Steve Martin. Some of Steve Martin's stuff was kind of silly like that.
Incredibly good.
But you look at, like The Jerk. That was not for everybody.
I was born a poor black child.
Some of The Jerk was a lot like
Right.
Jim Carrey, I think.
Yeah.
It was kind of over the top sort of.
And
I think the
remember,
two of them are really very similar in a lot of ways. I
And-
agree.
Ace Ventura.
Bowfinger. Again, Bowfinger. I always bring this up.
Oh,
But
yes, you
you
do.
know what? It was such a comedy, and Eddie Murphy playing two parts, and Steve Martin wrote it, and that made it really, really witty and good.
Steve Martin, Saturday Night Live.
Oh, he was great. He was great. Yeah.
Pardon me. There's no one else in the studio right now, so when the phone rings, I'm just making sure it goes right to whatever it goes to. Sure hope those calls are being answered.
The Dante's
Oh, well.
sub rings of hell.
It's interesting. So,
Yeah.
and I know you mentioned a few, but any one particular movie that's at the top of the comedy list?
It depends on whether it's belly laughs or really, really super clever. Super clever for me, Bowfinger, because it's just so well written. Everybody in it plays their part perfectly. The concept is just, Steve Martin is an LA
Fish
Hollywood.
Called Wanda.
Oh my gosh, A Fish Called
Funniest
Wanda.
movie of all time.
It is good. It is good.
Unless
Yeah.
the Fierce Creatures.
Ah,
About Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly did Step Brothers
Yes.
and Talladega Nights.
yes.
I remember
yes.
Talladega Nights.
Those
Yeah.
were both.
They were good.
Step Brothers was.
It was
Yeah,
good.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
That
I
was pretty
know.
good.
Yeah.
Boy.
I don't know. And then you look at back in the day, the crazy comedies like His Girl Friday with Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. Just this shotgun, funny scripts.
Well, going way back,
Yeah.
at least in my life anyway, I remember as a kid, I just lived for the next Jerry Lewis movie.
He was amazing.
And it was another one of these things where he did that weird, outrageous
Yeah.
character in, hey lady, and all that kind of stuff. He did that in a lot of different movies for a long
Yeah.
time.
Jerry Lewis was a precursor to Steve Martin.
Yeah,
and,
he was.
And
Jim Carrey.
And Jim Carrey,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
That same type of
He was.
Over the top,
over the
whatever
top.
that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that's, and Dean Martin did a pretty good job of playing straight man with Jerry
He
for a lot of
was,
years.
well, and I've been listening lately. I've been listening on Spotify to Dean Martin. What a voice!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was so good. And then later, when he did the Dean Martin roasts, he was hysterical.
And I've been told, and I have not confirmed this because he's not around to ask, but he always had a drink in his hand. It was always kind of like
It's
talking like he had a couple.
scotch and a
And
cigarette.
I heard that he didn't really drink much at all. It was all really part of an
I
act.
don't know.
And I don't know who told me that.
He really pulled that off.
I think it was
Yeah.
some nun that told me
Yeah.
that. I'm not sure, but
Right. But those roasts, they were, back in the day where Hollywood was really, they mingled.
Was that a movie?
No, Dean Martin roasts.
Yes, not a movie. But
no.
you know who made good movies
Oh.
with Abbott and Costello.
Yes,
Abbott and Costello,
they
yeah.
did.
Another comedian from way back when that we haven't mentioned, I don't believe, ever on the show, who you either liked him a lot or you just really couldn't stand him at all, but he did have some funny stuff early on. I think later in life he just became kind of abrasive. But Don Rickles.
Oh,
Don Rickles had some pretty witty
Don
stuff.
Rickles was brilliant.
Yeah. But he, after, as he got older, it was like, okay, come on, you got to have something else going here, but besides just
Yeah.
being abrasive.
Well, and then Groucho Marx. Groucho Marx, remember, did all kinds of stuff. I think I told you how he got taken off the air.
All right?
Yeah, he was.
Most
he-
ridiculous thing I ever heard.
You
Yeah.
had Gene Wilder and
Oh, yeah.
Richard Pryor.
Yes.
Oh, Richard Pryor.
Yes, Richard
And
Pryor.
talk about testing the outer limits there
Oh,
occasionally,
yeah.
both script wise and physiologically. But
Yeah.
another story for another show.
And chemically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a little fire?
Yeah. Oops.
Right.
I still have most of my face. That had to be terrible. And I don't know why I'm laughing at that.
So
But
What was the one they did with Was it Richard Pryor was blind? Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Boy, something about that sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, I think they actually did a couple movies together.
Mm-hmm. I think they were. Well, Richard Pryor helped to write Blazing Saddles,
Right.
and he was supposed to play the part of
The sheriff?
Cleavon Little, but he didn't. So
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Sheriff Barton.
Sheriff Bart.
He actually
yeah.
was one of the writers on that?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he and Mel Brooks were buds, and
Right.
can you imagine being in a session where they were writing that? I mean,
Because that's got to be a cut-up session
oh
and a
my
half.
gosh, it'd be fabulous.
That would be. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
Really.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're just about out of time. We're waiting for the definitive conclusion here from Craig.
Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Boy, that goes back. Another one, Jonathan Winters.
Oh.
Now, there was a guy
And
that,
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin,
who modeled himself after Jonathan
Yeah.
Winters. Yeah,
And,
Jonathan Winters was brilliant.
Jonathan Winters was excellent, and Robin Williams was truly gifted,
Yeah.
and especially
Yeah.
in that more intellectual humor. Stuff would be flying by so fast if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have gotten a lot of what just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
And that was a tragic end to that story.
yeah.
But
He allegedly, and I think it's true, had Tourette's. And he was featured on the cover of Tourette's magazine
wow,
quite back early on in his career.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, it
Brilliant man.
and it just brings that Jonathan Winters thing. There was a weekly show, the Jonathan Winters Show,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was also on, was it Rona Martin's Laugh-In, I think,
I believe
occasionally.
so,
I think that's where he may have gotten
Well,
his
he
start.
came on with Carol Burnett sometimes
Yeah.
a lot. Another funny movie, The Boondock Saints.
Oh wow!
Fabulous, funny movie.
And that was a documentary.
No, no, and that has Billy Connolly in it, who is just one of my favorite character actors. He's great, but really, Willem Dafoe plays a gay FBI agent, and it's just he's so good, and I won't say it's his best part, but it's riveting. I will watch that movie repeatedly.
And a half.
And have done so.
Where are we? See no evil, hear no evil?
What?
Yes,
Was
that's
that
it. One of them was
Really?
blind, the other one's deaf. I remember that one.
Really?
There you go. 1980.
No.
That was 1989.
Wow.
Is there ever been a funnier comedic bit than Who's on First?
Doubtful.
I don't know.
I mean,
No, he's on second. That's right.
that script was the best.
And to be able to keep the spontaneity, to keep the banter, the
Oh.
timing going like they did,
Oh.
Abbott and Costello did an
I
amazing
remember
job.
the first time I saw that,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah,
mean, my
yeah.
head just completely exploded. I was
Exploded,
about
I know, me
12
too.
or something.
Yeah, me too.
And saw
Yeah.
this thing and just, oh my Lord!
And then you follow it. It's just.
It's just,
Play that back
The
again.
double entendres, the puns.
it's you
Yeah.
can't believe those guys come up with that. And it's just, the timing is just
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
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 Hey, that's all the time we have for this week. Sadly, we got to make room for DJ Pammy, who's coming in here next. But thanks for joining us. Make sure you come back here again next
I think
Friday
John
for your
Cleese- I
hometown
think
movie,
John
guys.
Cleese is funny.
And we'll just keep the frivolity going.